Yo, what is good, YouTube? And I hope you enjoyed this video, which is me going up against CallMeMeech in the semi-final round of the Czar's first ever SimNation MyTeam Invitational. Just four guys starting out. Big shout out to Spacial Jones and the Czar for organizing and hosting and for inviting me. I think this is a great game against CallMeMeech where we try to showcase the mode in a different light, trying to play a different gameplay style from what is usually the game style that you encounter when you load up unlimited online. There's a lot to learn here, both on offense and defense, not just from myself, but also from CallMeMeech as well, who was a great opponent, very skilled offensive player, excellent defender. There's a lot to learn here. So this is the full game. What you're hearing will not be my live commentary as I was playing the game, but me reviewing the game for the first time. So I hope you enjoyed the game. Let's get into the gameplay. All right, so again, this isn't live commentary. This is me looking over the game film from yesterday's match with CallMeMeech. This is the first ever Czar SimNation tournament, so this is the semi-final round. And we have similar lineups, just people at different positions. So now we're taking a look at me trying to run 21 delay, and the first thing I notice is that he's shading me certain directions. He's also playing up very tight on a lot of my different... So that's a great shot right there. That's using contact and then converting that into a step back jumper. I did get a little bit bailed out. The offensive process in that possession wasn't particularly good. So here is the marquee matchup. We got Invincible Victor Wembanyama versus Endgame KD. It's a great hop back dribble. This is something that I wasn't familiar with. So I've watched Meech before, but this is something that he beat me with. I contained on help, but as a result of that help, he was able to drop those things off. So here I'm trying to run play, see how he's going to cover me in these different types of situations. So good pump fake right there, but the spacing was off. Ralph was dug in a little bit too deep. That's why we weren't able to properly take advantage of that. And here, unfortunately, we're just giving up offensive rebounds. So the way I play my team is that I don't like to give up too many additional possessions to my opponents. So that's why my lineup here has again just a long rebound, just very unfortunate. So but these are this is one thing that I want to emphasize throughout the game, that you should be able to maximize your offensive possessions against especially against a caliber opponent like Meech, for example. So this is a great move, one of my favorite ways to draw defenders' reaction and then countering. That's a nice little post-up exit out of a triple threat launch. Got us back to the three-point line, and this is my first day with Wemby, so trying to get used to his release. So we played good defensively so far in these first few possessions. So I'm very happy with my defense so far. Forced him into a bunch of tough shots. Every time you force someone to take a bad shot, which can be called a shot turnover, you want to push the pace almost immediately. So we get up very quickly to a 7-2 lead. I'm happy at this point at where my defense is. So I'm shading here, KD towards the middle, protecting that corner. But now, that's the problem. I had to go under because you don't want to get caught in screens. I need Meech to prove to me that he can hit that shot. Then now that he did, I'll adjust my defensive coverage accordingly. So I call here a fist pin curl play, but I'm trying to get Wemby out of those stagger screens right here. The help is right there. So now I see what he wants to do. He wants to contain Wemby off of that curl. And I'll adjust to this later on. You'll see how I adjust by using this play call. Something that I should have improved on in this game, and when thinking about, is that I gave up too many deflections, gave up too many turnovers, and this cost me throughout the game. You'll see later on. So always just be patient with your offense. He's also got deny everything. That should have been a dunk. Unfortunately, that's good help defense, and I think we ran that play very well. Was good execution. Just didn't get the 2 points. Let's get it to Wemby here. Spacing's a little bit off, so I'm being patient right here, trying to get good distance. That's good defense right there. So the thing is, Meech and I play very similarly. We were both very good Devin Booker users. So that works in two different ways. One, it helps us know what kind of moves we're looking for, especially with a guy like Devin Booker. There, I chose to contain the baseline dunk, but knowing that he had a counter, I wasn't too fast. I'll adjust to that later on. So right now, we're just looking at the different actions out of 21 delay. Man, something that I have to get used to is, especially when you're up against a defender like Wemby, his wingspan, that 8 feet wingspan, it's just crazy, man. Passes which usually go through will often get deflected just because of his length. So hop back again, help. So the help defense was there. That's twice now that he's baited me into drives, and that led to 2 very good shots. Again, running my 21 delay. So we take the baseline action here. There we go. That was a tough shot, and that was good defense. But again, when you're used to those situations and the way people play defense online is very tight, having a guy like Devin Booker is very important. That's great defense. Once again, the rotation should have been Devin Booker, but the initial help defense was good. So it's a great first quarter. Meech is the host, and you know what? Even though he was the host, the connection was pretty good. So very different from previous instances where I played against people in the US where the lag was terrible. So if you want me to discuss in a video how I improved my online connection for NBA 2K, let me know in the comment section below and we can make a video on that. So he gets up a quick 17-12 advantage, and at that point I don't want things to get out of hand. Call a timeout, try to compose myself, look if I need to sub in certain guys. So now I want to manage the fatigue of Devin Booker and Victor Wembanyama. So right here we're just trying to showcase a different style of playing NBA 2K. I'm not saying it's necessarily better, but you'll see, man, this type of playstyle is very rewarding. It's really is one of the most enjoyable games I've had in NBA 2K23, and this is a great move right here, putting forward pressure, trying to attack the paint, and then we just use that James Harden step back jumper, douse those flames a little bit, stop that little mini run that Meech had going. We're right there. Mark Eaton, stay disciplined right there. Dirk on Wemby, man, just look at how tall Wemby is. This is next Wemby, by the way, not the invincible Wemby, but his length, man, just presents so many problems on defense. So that was a great quarter. Feeling each other out, seeing how and it's different, man. When you face someone that plays a different style, there's nothing like it. You don't see these types of players online, at least when I play unlimited quick matches. You don't get this type of chess match and back and forth. So it's a very refreshing experience to play with someone that's both very good at from a stick perspective and knows tactically how to adjust to different strategies that I might employ. So here I want to isolate on Rick Smits, but he's doing a great job here crowding me. So I want to make sure that he's always overreacting. That's great defense, to be honest. But why I also did not hesitate shooting that shot was there was a mismatch on Mark Eaton since Rick Smits had to go out. And we got the offensive rebound. So this is a example of a really great pace in terms of how I want to play. From my experience, I think I perform the worst when people are able to speed me up. And I get a little bit impatient. This is a great steal from me right here. We read that really, really well. Great fast break defense here. I waited a little bit too much, and that's where the slight delay in the inputs cost me. So even though the inputs are pretty good, that there's still a little bit of a delay that cost me in certain catch and shoot situations in the game. So here, because of his defensive coverage, I noticed that he's tight on everything. And when your opponent is tight on everything, run a few screen plays. If they don't have help defense settings on, when people are going around screens, you can get easy opportunities like that. People get caught on screens, and then I had an easy dunk. So here we're leading 19-17. Things are going well. Great defense right here. Great interception. This should have been a dunk right here, but that was great defense. And, that was just stupid. Me probing right there. Just ran into Brad Doherty and gave up a turnover. So what could have been a 2-point fast break play is immediately turned into a 3-point swing. So the one thing that I'm disappointed most in terms of my performance in this game is the amount of turnovers that I gave up. Obviously, when you're facing someone for the first time, you don't know what kind of strategies they employ on defense, but I adjusted midway through the game, but I still made some careless mistakes. So here, pick and roll play. I wasn't able to play 2-on-1 as well as I'd like, so that was a great pick and roll execution right there. So here I'm trying to run an ISO for Kobe. He's got a height advantage over Don Ol. The play breaks down. We got a great crossover there. That should have been a foul in my opinion, but anyway, Mark Eaton converts. So there, the ability to break your defender down 1-on-1, get advantage situations, force help defense. Look at how we're shading Don Ol here. I think I played great defense right there. Even though he gave us 2 or 3 really good moves right there. And that's just the difficulty in navigating a tight space when you're going up against a wide body like Rick Smits. So here I want to set my offense. We avoid that charge right there. Very sneaky defense. That should have been a make, but unfortunately, we got hold right there. Look at this defense right here. Always shading him towards help. The help is there. Gets stuck. See, you always want to shade towards help, and then from there you want to recover. Playing great defense, honestly. And this is what happens when you've got 2 guys. See, this is another example of a bad play. Shouldn't have made that pass. I thought I had a brief window, and as a result, we give up a 3-point play. See, turnovers are the one thing that will kill you in Unlimited. Turnovers, offensive rebounds. If your opponent is able to maximize those opportunities, and if you give up too many opportunities, those are the things that will cost you in the game. So it's a low-scoring game. We just honestly, this is great defense being played by both sides. So here I'm gonna try and attack. Got that escape dribble. He was able to recover at the right time to give us a 7% contest. But by the time that I launched that jumper, unfortunately, I was fatigued. So again, great defense right there. Always shading Don Ol towards help. That was a little bit over help from my Victor Wembanyama. I thought we had great initial containment. Unfortunately, since I don't have my help defense settings on stay attached, those things happen, which I'm okay with giving up those types of shots. It's not a 3-point shot, so it's okay. So here I wanted to cook a little bit with Wemby, but the spacing was really terrible here. That's great defense right there. That's great defense. And I had to push this up. I should have kicked that out to Devin Booker, but I thought I could go up very quickly. And honestly, we're doing a great job in terms of individual defense right here. We've been able to contain a lot of these Don Ol crossover moves. That's great defense by me. That's a tough shot. So again, defensively, I'm not upset. I'm not upset with my performance. That's a great cut by Wemby, and we get that to a 4-point lead. Very, very manageable. The pace has definitely slowed down in this quarter. Honestly, my bench did not perform the way I like. This is great defense to end the quarter. And he's won the quarter by 2 points on each quarter. And the biggest thing is the turnovers have cost me. The offensive execution could be better. I'm not getting Wemby in spots where I would have been able to take advantage of, just the beast that he is. That's this great defense right here. And that boils down to the freelance that I'm using. 21 delay may not be the freelance that best maximizes Wemby. So one thing I'm going to take a look at moving forward is a different freelance that could work for me in terms of maximizing Victor Wembanyama's skills. So here we don't jump. That's great defense right there. And every time you force a turnover, the number one rule, always push the pace and get 2 points immediately. Fast break points are very important, especially points off of turnovers. That was a great double screen play right there. The help defense was very poor. That was a great shot by Meech. So here we're going to get Wemby out of that down screen right there. Get in a pick and roll action. Shoot a leaner. That's great defense. I could have made that. Still getting used to Wemby as a card, to be honest. But I should have been able to make that. Here was great initial drive, but I should have pulled up instead of driving. I thought I would get a dunk, but instead it gave me a bad layup animation. And it's unfortunate, but that was good offensive process. Great defense again right here. Great defense, but unfortunately our help was off. We contained the 2 initial actions, but unfortunately the help defense got scrambled a little bit. So here I'm going to try to run that fist curl play once again. So we give it to Jokic. Now we get to the second option, try to get Devin Booker out of those staggered screens. From here, we get a pick and roll. And then from there, we hit it pull up. Easy offense right there. Always try to settle down. We were down by 7. Things were getting a little bit shaky. Look at the field goal disparity in terms of efficiency. A 15 percentage point difference is very indicative of bad offense and great defense. Here we contain that drive really well. Force that turnover. Want to settle down. Make sure that the lead doesn't get too large, because things can avalanche real quick in unlimited or in a 5-on-5 game mode in MyTeam. You always want to control the pace. Make sure that momentum or the algo doesn't stray too far from favoring you. So it was slightly in the orange zone before the danger zone, where we had a 7-point deficit earlier on. Now we have a 5-point deficit, which is much more manageable. So we're going to try to attack Hido here. Hit him with that nice James Harden crossover. This is very lucky here. I didn't mean to get into a hop jumper there, but we just got lucky. Got bailed out by one of probably the best bailout in MyTeam history. This Victor Wembanyama card is nuts. That's a great shot. And that's poor defense by me. I should have led him to help. Instead, we gave him that open space. So right here. And this is costly. I wish I made those shots with Ralph Sampson. That was great offensive process, to be honest. And this is unfortunate. I thought that Nikola Jokic switched on Hidu there, and unfortunately I didn't have my defensive communication settings on. Miscommunication on defense. Jokic just left Turkoglu wide open, and as a result, we're down by 8, which is now I'm a little bit concerned. With 2 minutes left in the third, and with the pace being as low as it is, I wouldn't be concerned with an 8-point lead if it were a fast-paced game. But unfortunately, an 8-point lead in a game that's paced like this, that's heavy on defense, very worrying. So at this point, I'm just trying to collect myself, make sure that the next play is a guaranteed make. Make sure that we narrow this down to end the third quarter and put ourselves in a position to really take advantage in the fourth. So here we start shuffling again our lineup, bringing in James Harden. That's a bad offensive play right here, and this is where my concern over the lead. That's a great offensive move by Jokic right there, much needed. This is where my concern of the lead. Again, put pressure on someone, force them to make a play. I was really conservative on that play, and we attacked with a real good move by Nikola Jokic. I'm not concerned with a shot like that. Hidu has a very tough release, especially when it gets a little bit too far. So again, we attack. There we go. That's a great shot. Unfortunately, didn't time it really well. But offensive process has been great. 2 straight possessions now. We got wide open shots both times. Again, I'm not too concerned. Again, see? Shading the defense towards help. This is a great read by Meech right there. I thought he'd gap, since that's Victor Wembanyama, and he'd be concerned about Wembanyama dunking in the paint, but he made a great read. Hats off to him, man. That's great defense. This is a big mistake again. That's why you have to turn on defensive communication, man. Now you need to take advantage, score. That's a great move right there. This is a great move, and unfortunately, I don't know why, man. Victor Wembanyama, you're not supposed to miss shots like that. That was an excellent move. Open, no contest. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. This is great defense right here. This is great defense. But now we're both playing defensively really well. Both of us unable to score in what feels like a minute now. I had my chances, and I want to make sure that I end the quarter no worse than the previous quarter. At least we've lost every quarter by 2 points to this point, which means it's a very close game, and the difference is at the margins. The difference is whether I make a bad turnover here that leads to a transition play by Meech. And this is tough, man, and this is why it's really important to go up against different types of opponents so that you're used to different types of situations. So here, we sent the cut because the spacing was off. What that did was force defense away, help defense away from us. He had to back away from Ethan to defend the back cut, and this gave us enough space to cook in the post. So the backdoor cut isn't just used to get those easy backdoor plays, but it also can be used to space the floor much better. That's a tough shot. That's a tough shot. Dirk should have been there to help much easier. Okay, so I attack that. Meech does a really great job of helping. Again, I thought that pass was open, but that freakish 8-inch wingspan from Victor Wembanyama. That's great defense. It's really something you need to get used to. Open passes are not open anymore just because of that length. Trust me, when you play against a good Wembanyama user, you think a pass is open. It's not. That wingspan is insane. So here now, we've lost every quarter by 2 points to this point, and had to bring my starters back in. He brings his starters back in as well. So here we're running that fist curl play again. That Andre Kirilenko got a nice tap, but as a result, gives us an open lane towards the basket. The gamble attack, and every time a gamble fails, you want to attack. And we were set up right there to have two staggered screens that would also act as a rub screen for Devin Booker. Great move by Meech here, but our defense stays fundamental. Protect that corner. I know he was gonna burst. I overcommitted a little bit. This is great defense. I'm willing to give up that shot. That's about 2 feet, maybe 3 feet off of the three-point line on a step back jumper. That would be a tough shot. And this is me not being too familiar yet with Wembanyama's release and also the distance from the court in which I'm really comfortable shooting with him. But that was a good shot. I would nail that next time with more experience with Wemby. So far, offensive process has been good. So here, he gambles on AK, gives us an easy backdoor cut and end one opportunity. That was a great offensive read after a failed defensive gamble by Meech. Unfortunately, I missed this free throw. That would have been big just to put pressure on Meech just a little bit. So started the fourth quarter really well. Up by 4 in this quarter. Again, see, that's where your knowledge of animations really helps, because I'm an experienced Devin Booker user as well. I know certain patterns to look out for. I think more or less, and he runs a great out of bounds play right here, which I wasn't ready for. More or less, our Devin Bookers have mostly neutralized each other. And plus, we both put AK on each of our Devin Bookers. So again here, I wasn't comfortable with that shot. Was getting a little bit out of control. The help defense was on point. Instead of putting up a bad shot or making a turnover, I just call a timeout. I want to preserve those 2 timeouts for the last 2 minutes, but we're going to lose that third timeout anyway in about a minute or so. So I might as well have called that just to make sure that we have a good offensive possession right here. So 5-point lead with the pace being as low as it is. That was tough. I almost got called for a charge. I should have pulled up right here. Should have pulled up. Instead, I take a slightly worse shot, but still a good shot. I should be able to make those. Always shading towards help. I'm protecting that corner because the help's not there, and we make a good defensive play right here. Oh, that's a bad pass. That was a bad pass. That was impatience, and those were costly. Meech makes more threes than me in this game, and if someone makes more threes than you, you better make sure that you don't turn over the ball and you don't give up offensive rebounds. My half-court defense was strong. The biggest thing I'm disappointed with is my turnovers, and as you can see, turnovers are costly. We could have been in a position to bring the lead down to 3 points. Instead, it goes up to 7 points. So, hats off to Meech, man. Great half-court defense, also great full-court defense, being opportunistic with gambles. So here we call a play. Again, we're in that orange zone. And here, he overcommits on help up top. Now I want Wemby to take over. We've done a good job of spacing out the offense really well, but now I want Wemby to take over. So I ice that screen, don't jump on that step back, play great defense right here. Again, just bring him towards help, always shading towards help, and you get a good defensive stop. 2 minutes left. We put him in penalty, so the next one would be free throws. So it was great to push the pace. Devin Booker was wide open right there. Unfortunately, he didn't fully commit to the cut, but we were still lucky enough to get that dunk there as well. But that's why reading gambles and making sure that your offensive players respond to those gambles are important. And this is the importance of having a diverse offensive bag. Meech did not show me any type of post game earlier in the game, and he decides to bring it out in the last 2 minutes. This is where I'm upset. That load up animation, that's the unfortunate. That was an unfortunate load up animation. That should have been a make, but unfortunately, you get a load up animation. But again, I play great defense. We attack, spin layup, and one. Could have been a tie game right now if I made the 3 on the previous possession, but again, I missed 3 good looks from Wemby. 3 good looks that I feel comfortable with, that I would make with more time. So our defense has held up. Our defense has held up really well. Offensively, not as great as I would have wanted. So now he wants to put Jokic in the torture chamber, and this is a great move right there. Look at that. Seeking out contact by going. That was a great move by Meech. Props to Meech right there. Canceling the enter the post-up animation with a nice drop step. Excellent move. So we get a double drag screen right here. Hit him with a nice short step back jumper just to remain in striking distance. And the game will come down to this possession, whether I'm able to stop him or not. So again, I'm shading Devin Booker to help. I took one too many steps right there. That's why I had to reach. Well, he also made the dribble move, so I was strategic. I knew I had a foul to give, so I just reached at the right time. Switch on here. My defensive shading was off. I should have shaded him towards Devin Booker's help right there. Instead, I shaded him to no help. And that was a dagger, to be honest. Don't call a timeout. Want to preserve those 2 timeouts just in case. So here we attack KD with a nice little cross. Oh, he tries to gamble for a charge, but Wemby is really good, man. So here, I don't think I have my coach settings on auto late game foul, so I just turned it on just to make sure that we get that foul, and hopefully Meech misses one, but of course he doesn't. We'll go down by 4 here, and that will basically ice the game. So again, this was a great game against a very skilled player. So when you play someone for the first time, it's always a different experience. You try to figure out what their defensive coverages are. You try to figure out what type of offensive plays that they run. I'm not too familiar with Meech's 5-on-5 action. I see a lot of his clips on Twitter. He's a great one-on-one offensive creator, but what I discovered in this game that is he's also a great and opportunistic play caller. So he really knows his plays well, knows which sets to get into. And that's going to be important. One game isn't enough to fully read someone. But with experience comes knowledge, and even though we lost just by 4 points in what I consider to be a great close game, well played both sides on defense especially. This is what happens when you get similar players together. We're both great Devin Booker users, both great shot creators, run the Phoenix playbook, and our teams are matched up really well. So this was a very enjoyable game. I hope you learned something in terms of what happens when you play against someone of a similar skill level. And there's really much to learn. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.